all together and live.
I love it. Hello.
East Coast and West Coast.
Worldwide.
We're together.
I'm looking to see if I can get us, get our people up so we can see. There it is. So I can see us, who's
As
talking
people
to
join.
us. Yes. Hi, everyone. Everyone's joining us up.
Hello. It's happy hour. We all have our drinks.
Worldwide. Ooh, let me turn this volume down.
Mine is alcohol-infused kombucha, infused by moi.
That might be a recipe you got to send out later, Ryan.
I think I will, John. But, people are like, I didn't know they had alcohol-infused kombucha. No, they don't. I meant
you can infuse alcohol in everything.
Everything.
It's that kind of week.
It's that kind of week. This is our happy hour. We've survived a whole week, or maybe more for some people.
Almost.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He said he don't like the house.
No, whenever he gets upset, he doesn't like the house. He wants to go back to the old house.
Okay.
I don't think he ever got in trouble in the old house. Is that his?
That might be it.
That's his memory. That
might be it. Well, we've got lots of people joining us. We've got Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
My mom, Carolyn, is on. We got Sandra, Khadidra, Doreen, Nika.
No, baby.
Yeah.
Angie and Stephanie are joining in.
I see Ayana and Crystal and Doreen and Dawn and Maura and Leah. Oh, the Mochas are in the house.
Hi, Mochas. Thank you for taking such good care of my Delise.
Yes, Stephanie's on. So
y'all know y'all just have her on loan, though, right? Just saying.
So, Sands, I'm sorry. Can you tell people again what that beverage is that you have?
So it is kombucha, which everybody who knows me and follows me on any kind of social media know that all I do is drink kombucha all day long. And so I put a little bit of lychee liqueur and a little ginger liqueur into my kombucha. And it's quite tasty.
Well,
especially since I have a guest. I purposely left where they were, and my guest followed me.
Of course.
Because that's what little people do, our little friends.
Our little friends
do.
Like, you cannot be bothering them at all, and then you just decide, I'm gonna take this little bit of time to just do a little bit of thing, and then they decide.
Stay close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll all probably get interrupted during the course of this chat, I'm sure.
Yes. I see Wendy has joined us. Look, Mia said no one told her it's a happy hour.
Yes, happy hour is at 9.
Go get your drink, Mia. Go get your drink.
Every hour is happy hour where you don't have kids that you have to keep busy. This is Friday. School is out, so it's happy hour.
School is out. Yes. It's adult time, as we call it around my house. We call it tall people time.
I love that.
I can't call that in my house.
I was say, now that I love the new name.
They keep doing this every day.
I tell my kids on Friday, around 6:00, I'm like, okay, mommy's done for the week. She's done mommying. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, that means we're going to watch television. And we sit up and we watch a couple of movies. They eat some pizza.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm done.
Yes, I'm done. No more.
Looks like everybody's grabbing their wine for this chat.
There's no mommy here.
Angela says, hello, soror love. So she's sending some soror love to you, Sands.
Oh, well, that should be to the both of us.
Yeah, she says mocha and soror love. So
okay, got it. I was like, they know you're a Delta, right?
I think so. Well, I mean, let's see. Let's get started. Okay. Ryan, you really don't need an introduction, but hopefully that wasn't your kombucha.
Keep going. No, wasn't my kombucha. Now, honey, was that necessary? Does this look like a toy? Does this look like a toy? Seriously, does this look like a
Quarantine in
toy?
real time.
No. Well, then why were you playing with
That's
it?
the 4-year-old.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
You wanted to get on it? Well, why didn't you say something? And
that's
there's
the
so
little
many
one.
toys in
I
here.
need to put him on Facebook Live with my 4-year-old.
Absolutely, they need to be
They
together.
can be together.
Well, we not gonna
Totally.
play with this, right, baby? Because it's not
See,
a toy.
Ryan is
see,
getting her
see.
4-year-old.
Can't even drink your wine in peace.
No,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hate you. You can play with Wolfie. Would you like to play with Wolfie?
I see
Oh,
Michael on the line.
oh Lord.
You want
Oh,
something?
Jerry said she
Well,
started
ain't nothing
drinking
cool
too
in here,
early.
so go ahead on. Andrew, watch it, brother.
Yes.
Sandra has her wine.
All right. Everybody's got their stuff. Everybody's ready. Look, Miss Carolyn, this is Dericka's mom. She says it's Friday night. She just got paid and she's party hopping.
She must be buying the drinks.
That's your mom?
My
That's
mom.
Dericka's mama. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. She said, I just got paid.
Hopefully she's not talking about the money that they're sending all of us.
That's the first thing I thought was like, I might want to make that stretch just a little more.
So what I was saying was, Ryan, you need no introduction. However, I would like to acknowledge that you are an actress. You are a producer. People definitely know you as the wife of Sterling K. Brown. That you have a leading role in First Wives Club, which we all loved on BET Plus. Also, you've done One for the Money, as well as the Ooh heard around the world recently on All Rising, which I've been hearing so much about. And then, of course, your reoccurring role on This Is Us. And so we're just really excited to have you on our Facebook Live today talking about, just surviving homeschool and how we're all surviving homeschool. For those who don't know, you and I, Brian and I have been friends forever. Let's just say let's say 20 or so years.
Yes.
And she's my line sister and my confidant and my parenting. We throw parenting ideas and things off of each other and just live life together, right? And I really live life together on a almost daily basis. And so I just really appreciate that you agreed to come on and share your experiences with the folks from Surviving Homeschool.
Okay.
So, I guess to get this started, I see you have your little one with you, and this is part of like what we've been talking about in terms of surviving, right? Is that we have these little ones, and we're trying to, now in this new world of having to conduct business, also having the little ones that come and participate.
Yes.
Special way. But I imagine that people think that you and Sterling have people, right? That you have people that will handle this for you, that you have people that will, go and do your grocery shopping and handle your day-to-day, and that they'll do your toilet paper runs for you. Maybe they think that there's like a, secret celebrity Google group, where your assistants are somewhere talking about where the, closest places that has has the water supply. But, when we were talking, you really gave me a sense of what real life is like with you. And so can you give folks who are on our Instagram, our Facebook Live tonight, give them a sense of what day-to-day life has been like for you this past week, given the pandemic?
Well, everything came to a grinding halt. One thing I'm really grateful for is Sterling was doing a movie and everything shut down. Like his production shut down before I got word that my production shut down. And I think the domino was I was on Our Rise, I was on set, and everybody has phones now, so everything ping 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 ping, and I was like, oh Lord, what done happened now? And a woman was on set, and Chicago has like Chicago this and Chicago that and Chicago emergency and Chicago emergency and the snow and Chicago has it right. So she was on one of those shows in Chicago, and we're not clear if she got it going to Chicago or got it coming back to LA, but she's on set. And so when you're on set, let's just talk about the food. Okay, so people don't realize crafty and catering. So you're there all day. So imagine if you get to work. Imagine if you got to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's okay, baby. You just got to do what you got to do. But let mommy talk for just 5 seconds.
I'm canceling the zip line.
Okay, we have to. We're canceling the zip line. And that's okay. And we will find another time to do the zip line. Okay.
No.
So
if nobody wants to play with me, then that means I can't.
I have a great idea. Why don't you go find your daddy? See if he wants the zip line. Go. Hurry. Go run. Hurry. Find him. Okay. So,
you got 2 minutes and he'll be back.
Y'all, but Sterling will find a closet. He will find a room that nobody even knows about in the house. I'm like, how did you find a secret room? When did we have a secret room? Like,
he picked the house just for that.
Listen, the other day something happened and I was like, where is Sterling? Sterling was in the bed asleep in the middle of the day in a pandemic. I was like, you know what? You got it made. Anyway, so back to this woman. And so we all were on set and we found out at the same time. So when you're on set, you get to work at 5 o'clock, they have breakfast, and then lunch is 6 hours after that. So now you can imagine if you've been up, you ate. 6 hours is a long time to go before you eat your next meal. So there's something called crafty. There's catering and crafty, and they're two different things. And catering, most of the time they're two different things. And catering has like snacks and food, and it goes something like this. So somebody comes, everybody, right? You have your whole crafty. It's all set up, and it's like, no, can you see my hand? No, I don't want this apple. What about this apple? No, I don't want that. What about these fig Newtons? No, I don't want that. How about these peanuts? No. Right. So all day long. And then you have people who are incredible professionals and they're coming and they're touching your face and they're coming and they're doing your hair. And and then you have people who are putting your microphone on. And then you have people who are futzing with your clothes because they have to look right. And, that's just 3 departments. That's hair, that's makeup, that's wardrobe, that's sound.
Right.
That are touching people, right? Interacting with people. Not to mention, like I said, crafty and catering. Then they put the hot food out and everybody touches the same thing to put, and normally, people like me are like, that's kind of nasty, but I'm hungry. You know what I mean? What we gonna do? And so I think it hit home when we found out that one woman, and everybody was like, oh my God, she's a woman. So a lot of people were like, just statistically, she's probably in hair, makeup, or wardrobe, right? Because unfortunately, the roles are very gendered still on sets. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It just is what it is. So people were like, oh my God, what if she's touching people's faces? And you could feel the shift on set. People were like, this is it hit close to home. And shortly after that, Sterling was like, yeah, we're coming home. Or we're shutting down. He came home because he was in New Mexico. And then probably the next day, I got an email saying all of Warner Brothers was shut down. And you have to remember, Warner Brothers does tours. All of them do tours. Yeah. Every single set does tours. Because you can go see where Friends, shot. Or, I don't know, different world. Like everything was shot in LA. And so every, studio has tours.
Right.
So just that alone, I mean, and then auditions, people audition on, you don't think about the number of people until you have to think about the number of people. Right. So we got shut down and, he's been home and we've all been sort of like trying to figure out, and like everyone else has been day to day. A lot of people think that, I'm sure that there's actors like Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks probably does not have to work another day in his life. I'm sure he has enough money to maintain his lifestyle. Maybe I'm not sure. Who knows? I don't know what the man does, but I'm going to make an assumption that he has enough. But it hit me today, and Sans, we were talking about this, and I was like, how long could this potentially go on for? And if we're not working, we don't get paid.
Right.
There's no such thing as like work from home. What we gonna do?
Right.
Who gonna have a scene with? Amari? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
right.
There's no, and anything we would do from here on out would be, joyous and wonderful, but it certainly wouldn't be anything we would be getting paid for. You need to be on set to be working. And how long is this gonna go on? And we talked about the article, and it's like, no one really knows. I think initially for the for the first 4 days, I was like, okay, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Let me just wrap my brain around 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And then it was like, oh no. I think yesterday and today it was like this might be life for an extended period of time that we don't know how long it's going to be.
Right, right,
So.
right. So did you then start to have to do your grocery runs? Did you have to do your, were you starting to kind of do those types of things?
So the first thing I did was food. The first thing I did, I was like, okay, I'm not a hoarder, but I don't know who else is going to be hoarding. I don't know what the landscape looks like. All I know is that, so for me, being raised by the old Southern Black women that I was raised by, I was like, it didn't seem right to me to be like, well, we'll just order out. I don't know who's touching my food. Like, you know what I mean? At this point in time, I'm like, and let's be clear, you have people in the service industry who are being overworked right now. I just was like, maybe now is not the right time for me to just rely on Postmates.
Right.
So, I went to the grocery store, and that's actually what was scarier. The scariest thing for me was going to the grocery store and seeing empty shelves, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, first of all, I live in LA, so people don't even eat pasta. We're like, oh my God, don't do carbs. I can't eat carbs. Like, carbs make you fat. Oh my God, she ate pasta. Like, I was sitting there and she ate a whole plate of pasta. And I was like, do you know how many carbs are in the pasta? Child, guess what they was eating up in a Whole Foods? Pasta. Yum. The whole shelf was like, I literally got one thing of one thing of spaghetti from some brand I never even heard of. And I was like, who did y'all all of a sudden turn into?
Right.
And that's when it kind of hit me. And I was like, there was nothing in the frozen food aisle. There was not a can of anything.
Wow.
And I was like, that was scary. Cause it hit me how spoiled we are. Mm-hmm. First of all, just not even LA, but anywhere. The fact that I'd never seen an empty shelf.
Right.
He's not trying to steal it. Andrew, can you do me a favor, my love?
I told her she had 2 minutes, right? I timed it just right.
Listen.
Right.
No, we don't cut it in half. Why don't you give it to him and y'all go? Give it to him and y'all go. Give it to him and y'all go.
But this shows, right, that it's like you're always trying to balance, both of those, and with a smile, right?
Go.
This is what some parents that are trying to work from home are experiencing.
You can't cut it. Yeah. Go. Give it to him and go.
Absolutely.
Give it to him and go. Because I know
it's
he
almost
had
like
it first.
You want to lock the door, right?
Go. He gave it to you. Go. Get it. Go. See? Now you have it. Next time y'all have a problem, go ask Daddy. Okay.
There she goes. The door got closed.
Where's your daddy?
The door can be closed. They don't care.
So Ryan, I want you to talk about, how you, about this week, because when we were talking about, some people have been able to really get into like figuring out schedules and, for their kids' schools and blah, 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 but for you, we were talking about how you haven't even had an opportunity to even get to the part about school scheduling.
Right. So again, for me, I was like, I have to wrap my brain around how do I feed? If you think about it, how convenient is it for us to be out and about? Okay, I don't have time to cook. Let me go ahead on and Postmates, or let me stop at, the counter and get being the convenience. Convenience is such a part of our life. And it occurred to me this week that convenience would not be a part of my life. The ability to rip and run and do and get was not going to be a part of my life. And I thought, So for me, I didn't think about school. I was like, they can exist for 4 or 5 days without a structure, without schedule. Andrew actually came home on Friday night and did 6 hours of homework. He woke up at 6 o'clock the next morning, did 6 more hours of homework because he was like, I'm not wasting any moment of my break. He was like, I got 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks of Madden. If I do all my homework now, and he went through a stack of papers. He read 4 hours. I was like, you need to pace yourself. He was like, no, because I'm going to play. I was like, okay. So I kind of took that as all right, look, let me just, for me, first of all, I told you this today, Delise, I was exhausted.
Yeah.
We live, I feel like as women, as moms, as whoever, whatever our titles are, we live at such a level of like, we're just escaping exhaustion. We're just escaping, like, we're doing so much. And like we talked about this today, Delise, right? Like there's so much to do. And once you get to the place that you have to go to, you're happy. You're out, you're with people, you're happy. But you're just like, once you sit, I mean, you sit down and you're like, I haven't sat down all day.
Yes.
Except when I was in the car. This feels nice. I got to get up. Why I got to get up and go? And so for this week, for the first couple of days, I was cooking and cleaning and cooking and cleaning and getting stuff in the freezer, so I could make sure that there was something to eat. And then I was like, I'm really tired and I can sleep. Like I can get a good 8 hours of sleep. Yeah. And so that was probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now here we are Friday. Yesterday, I wish I had it. I would go get it, but then I'd have to interact with children. But yesterday was the day that I was like, okay, this might be a while. So I went through and I got a homeschooling schedule with Andrew, with a lot of his input. I had him sign it. I made sure Sterling was there, so he knows. So nobody, because that happens a lot in my house. It's like, did nobody tell me? Well, now you've been told. And the person, and I was thinking about it today, Delise, we didn't talk about them. The person that I'm most worried about is Amari. Because Andrew can why? I'll tell you why in a minute. But Andrew can articulate what he's been working on in school. Andrew can articulate what he's interested in. Andrew can articulate what books he likes, right? So as long as Andrew is reading, as long as he's writing letters to his friends, like as long as he's doing some math, like I feel like that's okay. The person I'm most worried about is Amari, because he's going into kindergarten, and Andrew was fine, but I don't know, like what happens in the fall,
right?
What happens to all these kids going into kindergarten that are on the cusp, because Amari's birthday is in September. Are they going to be quote unquote ready for kindergarten? Are they going to relax the standards of what it is to be ready for kindergarten? Which I always have a problem with, because I'm like, it's kindergarten. You shouldn't have to be ready for kindergarten. But that's a whole nother conversation. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that worries me the most, because, I've invested so much in him having a play-based curriculum that I'm like, now I don't know what that even, I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that means, but especially without other kids. In the absence of other kids, how do you have a play-based curriculum?
Yes.
And so that's actually my focus, is more on Amari in that way, because I'm like, outside of my personal tutor who comes, AJ, and he comes with this wonderful little monster machine called Blaze. He comes through the TV. I love AJ. Yeah. He teaches them about gears. He teaches them about physics. He's wonderful. Mm-hmm. The absence of AJ, and yes, at this age they have so many like shows that they can watch, but again, like that just being able to go out and play, which he has in his preschool, I don't know how to recreate that, especially when we can't keep them around other kids. And at this age, that's so crucial. Andrew can go on FaceTime with his friends, and he can do all of that stuff, and I feel like it's not going to impact him in the same way. But we don't know what 4 months with no other children his age is going to do to children this age.
No,
we don't know.
So that kind of
I know
leads into
I was there
yesterday. Had a school counselor on, and she went over coping skills. So you've mentioned several things about the anxiety and the stress of going to grocery stores and there's nothing on the shelves, your job being shut down, and if you're not at work, then you don't get paid, which many of us parents are experiencing right now. If we're not physically at work, then no paycheck is coming. Not knowing what the future is for our children, as far as with them possibly being out for the rest of the school year. What does that mean? Does that mean summer school? Does that mean they do some kind of a bridge kind of education to help fill in that gap? What are you doing as a parent to try to woo-saw all of this that you have spinning around the unknown of the virus and how long this is going to last? What are your coping methods?
I'm resting. And I cannot, for me personally, I can't stress that enough. Like I said, I realized that I was already at such a level of like not on E, but like the level right before E, that I was like, I can't get sick. I can't get a cold right now. I can't get, and I have the opportunity to rest because I don't have to go to work. I'm resting. If it means, you know what, I've been cleaning for 2 hours, I'm going to sit down. I am. I'm not going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yes, there's stuff that I can do. I'm going to sleep till 8:30 or 9 or 10, whatever it is. But you know what I mean? That's personally for me what I'm doing. I am prioritizing rest in a way that I've never done before because I've never been able to before.
Right.
My schedule is my own, and right now, rest is the most important thing. And I feel for me when I'm rested, when I'm well rested, I can take on my anxiety level goes down. When I'm sleepy, when I'm tired, that's when everything boils over. So I
Mhm.
mean, I hope
Definitely
that
agree with
doesn't seem
that.
like such a simple, and I don't mean it to be flippant at all in any way, but for me, it really is prioritizing rest. And again, stressing the fact that prioritizing rest is not something I get to do in the pre-COVID life.
Right, right. I mean, and the thing is, I know that when you are with your kids, you're all in. So I love hearing that you're prioritizing rest, and I love hearing that you're also doing it without guilt. Because I think that a lot of times families feel like, well, if I take that second away, that have some sort of guilt feeling around that. And so I love that you're doing that. We've been advising parents to find times for themselves by themselves, close the door, in the way that you're closing the door. We've told them to remember their hobbies. Obviously, we can't go outside. And I know you like to exercise gym wise, but, it's maybe reading books, maybe it's, finding doing some exercise in your, inside your home. Maybe it's cooking, but find some kind of hobby that you personally enjoy. We've also been, suggesting, back to kind of that centering and that Laura was talking about yesterday around meditation and yoga and prayer, but whatever kind of centers them. We've been offering that to them, as well as just really being gracious, which is what I hear you doing, so well, is being gracious with yourself that I need this, I'm going to take this, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it because it makes me a better parent in the end. So I really appreciate that you're saying that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I mean, we don't know what's coming down the pike. I just want everybody to pace themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't think, oh, I got this. I made pancakes. And then after pancakes, we had a snack. And then after the snack, they did 17 experiments. And then after that, you're not gonna be able to keep that up
Not
for
forever.
those 14 weeks.
Mm-mm.
Girl, bye. Girl, bye. You better sit down someplace.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Pace yourself. This could go on for 2 weeks. And in which case, great. But the chances are that this is going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to go on longer than just 2 weeks. I remember, they're saying in California, like, we might not go back till the fall.
This is when we need to take a glass of wine.
This is
Sip.
when we need to take a sip. Everybody take a sip. Everybody take a sip. But so
Go
that's
back
and
until the
that
fall.
happened
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I was like, okay, let's all pause. Again, let's keep our eye on the prize and and listen. You have boys, D. I always said this when Andrew started to sort of like walk and talk and I was like, I understand why when people lived on farms and homesteads that they wanted boys. I was like, he could go bale some hay.
All that energy.
He could go he'd have a whole field of wheat cleared. And I'm like, I just wish that I could just give him a homestead to just go and be like,
Mm-hmm.
go plow the field. And then you can play after. He'd be like, great. They that's why they need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Absolutely.
go farm. And
Right.
so, so for me, I'm like, I have to remember that I don't even remember where I was going with that. The point is that
It's
I
because you
just
sip
have
the
to
wine.
remember
Pacing
to
yourself.
pace myself,
Mm-hmm.
that this could be for the long run. And really back in the day, children I think we've gotten to this point where we forget that the world of education is it can be a lot more broad than we think it is. There are a lot of ways for kids to get education and to get exposed to certain things, and we have to be able to give ourselves that grace of like, maybe you just lock your children out the house one day and be like, there's a whole backyard out there that y'all never play with. You play 20 seconds on the what is
Jungle
it called?
gym.
The jungle gym, or you play 20 seconds out there. No. This is your day to figure out how are you and your brother gonna play outside in this backyard. We had to, Delise.
We sure did.
We did, and that's why, I feel for these parents, because we had some leeway that these parents don't have, right? So imagine, where if you had that flexibility where the kids you could just kick them out and have their, homestead. But in this case, we have families who have literally been told, not only are you going to work full time, telework, from home, and, but you're also going to educate them, right? And so, you're somehow supposed to be in two places at one time, trying to, be on a conference call or these large blocks of time while making sure that they're on their online class, Zoom class at this particular time, getting packets done, and turned in at 12 o'clock. My son has that kind of schedule.
And given that you have more than one computer in the house.
If you have more than
assuming you have more than
exactly.
Right? Listen,
right.
Give yourself some grace, because honestly, what are they going to do? I think about it. What are they going to do? You don't hand in your paperwork at noon for your school. What they going to do?
Yeah, that's a good question, right?
What are they going to do? We are in the midst of a global pandemic, and so what are you going to do? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Tell the people that can hold on to hold on, and if your job can't hold on, go to your job. And if your child doesn't get that packet in at 12, guess what?
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think people need to understand this is not an optional thing. We have not all decided that we're going to take spring break at the same time.
Exactly.
Like, this is not spring break.
We wish it was.
Right? Like, we are all stuck in the house together. This is the time to tell your teacher, dude, I'm sorry, he didn't get it in at 12. Maybe we can get it in at 12 tomorrow. Maybe we can do it over the weekend. Maybe it'll be next week.
Whenever we can, if we can.
Whenever we can. What's she gonna do? What's she getting graded on?
What they gonna give them? In-school suspension?
Yeah, and who is the person that is like, who is her boss that's telling her these things have to get, or him, that these things have to get done at a certain time? Where is the chain of command? And if there's a chain of command,
too, I'm sure the teachers would appreciate the leniency as well, right? Because it's not like many of them also have families to care for.
Yeah. And this is a new medium for a lot of them. So they're even struggling with that, getting, used to the technology that they're now required to use. They're used to being face-to-face. You can't teach over the internet as if you were face-to-face. It's just totally different.
Yeah. Exactly. And you've got these kids that are, I just think have a great deal of grace with it. And I tell you all the time, Delise, I have found that in Los Angeles, California, I don't know about anybody else or any place else, but in Los Angeles, yes, parenting is a blood sport. A blood sport that I have decided that I've already lost. I am not going to participate in, and I will sit in the bleachers and watch y'all. I'm going to come to your birthday parties because they're lit. They are lit. Girl, you did all this for a 4-month-old? Girl, look, I will eat all your food and go home and be like, that was nice. I will never do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at all the stuff that these people are doing, and you're just like, are you for real? If that's you, a friend of mine she was in Andrews, her daughter was in Andrews school. And she, from what I'm told, had waited a long time to have a baby. And she finally had this baby. And I still have the t-shirt. She made like Mickey Mouse t-shirts for the party favors. I don't do party favors. I'm like, because I don't craft. So whatever you get is going to be something that's cheap. And I don't want to send you home with nothing cheap. So thank you for coming. Who said that we have to give people party favors to come to a party? Who
As I
said that?
sit here, I'm sitting here with my cricket behind
How do
me.
you fix it?
That is so
Like,
funny. No,
like
you're
who?
right. Yes, you're right. You're right.
These parties cost so much money.
It's a lot.
They fleece you for the party. You give them food, you give them cakes, you give them snacks, you give them games, and then you got to figure out something to send them home with. How about a handshake and a prayer? Hallelujah. Like, so I personally, for me, I will unplug from anything that feels like it is continuing the idea that like there's a way to do it. And not to get political, but when I saw your friend
How do you fix it?
Ivanka with we just have, just have a tent party, and I was like,
Mama, how do you fix this?
you can't fix it, baby. We need crazy glue. But if I can find some crazy glue, I'll show you how to fix it. I promise.
So
I just was like, once again, it's like it doesn't become when you perfectly light a shot and your children are in perfect poise because they're so happy, and you've got your full face of makeup and the light is filtering through the little canvas that you've constructed with your child. That, to me, that might be your real life, and God bless you if it is.
Yeah.
But let us make sure that the mothers for whom that is not real life
Yeah.
don't
feel that
think
pressure.
that they should use that as a standard.
Yeah.
It's just one person's real life.
Yeah.
Look at it, bless it, job bless, keep it moving. That's not going to be your reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
the other step. It's okay if your reality is not ponies and hay rides and all of these wonderful things that these other parents are doing, because nobody knows what's happening behind the scenes. Only
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
You touched on some of the things that we've been talking about, like having the flexibility. And I've seen like a lot of schedules. I'm all about having a schedule. I have 3 boys, so they need some kind of structured thing. But I actually sat down to try to do this schedule as if I would do one for work, and it felt too much like work, and it felt too rigid. And so I ended up putting our schedule on a dry erase board. Why? Because I can erase things and switch it up at a drop of a hat and don't have to come back to my computer. And my kids will know that everything on this board is subject to change. So
Right.
don't think every day we're going to start at 9. We might have a 2-hour delay tomorrow.
Right.
We might dismiss early.
I love
So
that. We're having a 2-hour delay.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour delay. We had a 2-hour delay yesterday. So flexibility is something that is an advantage to traditional homeschooling. So why is that not an option for these people that are now thrown into homeschool or schooling at home? And while we're talking about the kids, what have you actually told your kids? I think you said your kids are now 8 and 4. What have you talked to your kids about what's actually going on and why they can't go out and play with their friends and have play dates, or, they're not at school with their friends, that sort of thing, or they're not going to an outdoor, what do you want to do? Zip lining?
The zip line was in the house.
Oh, he wants to go to the outdoor one though.
He created his own zip line. We're not clear exactly what was happening with his zip line. I'll find out when the call is over. Yeah. I don't know that I'm the right person to answer this question, because I'm a little bit more Black mama-ish with my answers to my children. I'm like, it's that virus. My children can say coronavirus. Andrew was like, is that how you get coronavirus? I was like, yes, baby. He was like, we can't touch this dog, coronavirus. I was like, yes. And Mari was like, why can't I see my friends again, mommy? Because corona. I was like, yes, baby, coronavirus. I don't know that I'm the best. I'm sure that there is like a better, more like less ignorant response to that, to be like, children, there are things called viruses, but sometimes those viruses live on surfaces and we can't tell who or what or when or where, darlings. So that's why we're staying inside, but we'll call it something wonderful like the Tea Party virus. No, Joe. I'm like, it's corona. So my children they know exactly what's going on. They get it. They're like, are we gonna be okay? I'm like, we gonna be fine. Get this hand sanitizer.
Oh,
Even I'm like, oh, this might have been, I could have been a little bit more use some more discretion.
it's
So
hard
that's what
though.
I've told them. I've told them the truth. I've
Mhm.
told them that, there's this thing going around and we all got to be safe and we don't know how long, but the important thing is that we're together and we pray every day and we pray. And whenever there's like a issue, I'm like, well, let's just be thankful for what we got. Let's be thankful, and so,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think, but I don't necessarily know that I would use that as a template for how to
Okay.
talk to your children about
Okay.
corona.
We won't quote you on that.
Please don't. Thank you.
But I get it. I get it. I totally get it. I've told my kids, as far as like wasting food and stuff, I slipped up and I was like, there's no food on the shelf. So we're not wasting anything. And I feel like maybe I shouldn't have said that, but maybe I should have, because maybe they'll appreciate what they have and not be so wasteful. I think it's a lesson that we're
Yes.
all learning right now.
Yes. But think about it. Like, isn't having children, yes, you want to shield your children as much as possible from stuff. But at the same time, like, I go back to the depression. You can't shield your child from the depression. You can't shield your child from what's happening in the world. Isn't that a level of like spoiling them unnecessarily? Like, this thing is happening. They can understand. No, look, you got to pull your weight. Things are changing. You can't just sit up here and eat half a popsicle and throw the rest away. Or you can, but the result is gonna be that's your last popsicle.
Yep.
Boo.
May not
Boo
get any
thing.
more.
Ain't no
Mm-hmm.
frozen food. Ain't no
Mm-mm.
frozen food. So if you want that popsicle, we can't do what we used to. And I know that I was guilty of like, oh fine, I don't want to eat the rest of it. But this morning, perfect example. Amari had eaten most of his waffles. And there were a few left over. And I was like, you know what, bruh? You're gonna have to eat the rest of them waffles. Cause I'm tired of throwing away food, especially when I know
You can't get more.
I can't go to Trader Joe's and get any more. I
Right.
know that for a fact because there's nothing at Trader Joe's in the frozen food section. And you like your waffles? Great. You better eat them now and be grateful. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a lesson a 4-year-old absolutely can learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if it does get worse? What if it does get worse and then we have to, we have to play catch up? I feel like
Right.
we've already seen what happens when people play catch up and can't catch up, you know?
Yes, so Mia says that she sends this Monday message out to her teens that she kind of mentors, and she says that she really appreciates that because she's going to pull from that, what you were just saying. And Naomi says that she's her 10-year-old really looks for the truth, and so that they watch the news and they discuss it. And yeah, now he knows because he knows what's going on that it's not that he shouldn't be wasting food, and so.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like for some, letting them know that it's the corona,
Yeah.
is something that will bring them to that point where you were saying, Brian, like you have to pull your weight, or you need to know what's going on so that don't throw away half that popsicle.
Right.
Right.
It worked
Right.
negatively for me though today in the writing. I think I sent it to you, Delise. I had the boys do a journal entry, and then the last line of what the 8-year-old said, he said, "My mom made us stay outside for an hour, even though there's a virus out there."
Dead.
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
So it could work either way.
You tell him I said you better go somewhere. My mom made me it's like he's gonna read that and be like, Mom, you made us go outside
Made you go
because of
outside.
corona.
Mom made me get exposed by making me stand outside.
That's hilarious.
So have you seen any changes in the kids this week they've experienced a lot of change with, kind of staying at home. Have you seen different methods that they might be using on their own to kind of cope with the change? Any like behavioral differences, or are they just...
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Amari has been a little bit more, we've had to explain to him because he thinks everybody else is in a play date except him.
Mm.
And he just didn't get invited, And at first, the first day was he had all these imaginary play dates lined up. He's like, Levant is coming over and Remy is coming over. And I was like,
That's
and then
cute.
and then he got really sad because he was like, nobody wants to come to my house. And I was like, no, baby. And then we had to explain. Andrew went from the highest of all highs, being told that there was going to be no school for 2 weeks. I mean, you would have thought that Michael Jackson and Jesus Christ came back in the same, like he just, it was like, he was like, yes, yeah, like he was so excited. And then today they had a little a Zoom with with some of the little kids from his class, and he was like, oh man, God, I miss school.
This is real.
I was like, quarantine day 5, my friend. So I've noticed him. Go ahead. No, I was saying I've noticed in him that he has a different appreciation for what it is to. I think he's appreciating more what he had, his friends, and he's been much more emotional. There's been a lot more tears, some freakouts, some I can't take it anymore. I can't, like just being stir crazy. So I don't know if that's just like first week and then it's going to settle in or what. I mean, we can leave the house as of right now.
Right.
And we can go for walks as long as you're 6 feet, you know what I mean, from people. But it's not enough, they need other contact. So it's going to be interesting to see how his emotional life levels out, or if it continues this kind of up and down for Andrew.
Yeah, well, I know you mentioned to me that you were basically going to lock everybody in, and no one's going to, be let out, and kind of shut the world out. And I was thinking about, that, and it made me think about some of the suggestions that we had given some of the families on surviving homeschool. And I was thinking about the one about reimagining spring break. And I was thinking about your kids in particular, because I think they kind of get a kick out of that, where let's say, you all had planned a trip somewhere, would they be interested in kind of recreating that trip in a room, like maybe pulling down some pictures of it, maybe looking at map work around it, maybe eating the food from that place that you all were planning on going, maybe, I was saying, like, trying the language, or listening to the music, kind of having dance music time, around, those things. So kind of recreating spaces for, places for them, because I think that they're so creative. Your boys are so creative, that I think they may get a kick out of that. I was also thinking about, you were talking about kind of ordering in, and Dee had this really great suggestion the other day to the Surviving Homeschool crew about having, things like Philly cheesesteaks ordered in, or Maryland crab cakes, or Chicago pizza, those kinds of things, French cuisine, that will be ideas to kind of bring culture, in to the day, so they don't feel like everything is about being in this house. We can talk about Philly, we can talk about Maryland, we can eat foods from there. And so it would feel like it's kind of external, even though they're in the house. The other thing, I don't know, Santa, if you saw the virtual field trips that the Cincinnati Zoo is doing, the Houston.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
The giraffe, I didn't know if the boys had seen that, because I think that they would really enjoy that, because it's so up close and personal, and that thing is like sniffing and eating and, pooting and doing all kinds of stuff, boy stuff that they would like, and so I just thought that, they might like those virtual field trips, because you do really feel like you're walking through the zoo. They take the animals through places that the children didn't get to go before. And for your older child, for the 8-year-old, some of them have lesson plans and things that are actually fun, like crossword puzzles, not like boring work, but like actually really fun crossword puzzles that I think that they may get a kick out of. And then, you mentioned the virtual play dates. I don't know, you have a younger one. I always think, that's a little bit of a, it's been a bit of a challenge, and my daughter takes my phone and kind of goes away. So, that's so for some parents that works, for some, for some that doesn't. I think my little one just really just appreciates seeing them, and then they, I can say, okay, that was 5 minutes, to kind of give a time frame around it. So maybe, trying these virtual times that aren't classroom specific, but just like, I want to, I just want to call her and say hi, so I can see my little friend on the phone. And then kind of, so they, like you said, they know that they're not the only one that's kind of quarantined. My son and Dericka's son are really close, and, they think that this is like their dream come true, because everyone's home at the same time. And so now they have to like organized, like this person's in traditional school, this person's, at home talking a game, so they're actually really enjoying the whole thing about being able to get on Zoom and these different apps together, because before that they couldn't do it because everyone was in different times. So
right.
And then the last one I was thinking about was the vacation room in your home. So I mean, obviously I've been to you all's house, and and you mentioned like he's created like the zip line. I think that they may get a kick out of making. I know you can't go to that beach. You all went earlier this week, but I know maybe not now. But like beach pictures. What'd you say? Did she go off?
She froze a minute.
No, the LAUSD calls me literally every 5 minutes. But anyway, it's like robocalls. But no, we didn't make it to the beach. There was so much wind that wherever you were, if there was like an exposed part of your body, the wind was like I actually have little sores on my ankles.
Wow.
Yeah, where the sand like bit into the skin because the wind was so. And then
trying to go back there. Yeah.
So we were like, no, we're not gonna come back. But I thought, the beach would be great because everyone's walking. It's not a park where you're. Yes, a park is obviously outdoors, but it's still kind of enclosed. At least I thought a beach, everybody's walking along the beach, so it'll be easier to keep that 6 feet.
Right.
The wind is blowing, and it's not quite as like. And a lot of people had that idea, and then it was windy, so it was not
like all
idea. But anyway,
right. So maybe they even recreate that, in the house, not with the sand, because we don't do sand in our house. But I was thinking about, Dee had this great idea about even projecting like beach onto like a Apple TV, kind of thing, and either pretending you're at the beach or pretending that you're camping or pretending, I know your boys make forts and all that kind of stuff, not like popping up a true tent and maybe doing marshmallows, not that far, but let them recreate these spaces. I think would be fun because your boys are so creative.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I will try. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know. My oldest. It's funny because what you're saying actually makes me think. I wish I had gotten. It's so funny. These kinds of situations put you in this moment where you're like, I wish I had done that when I could have. Like I often wanted to put like an outdoor, like fire pit outside, and now I can't. I mean, I can order it, I'm sure, but I can't just go get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just makes you realize, like, because that would have been nice. I would like, oh, we could do s'mores outside and maybe have a whole day where we're just outdoors, like our outdoor day.
Right.
And we can go at night. But now I'm like, dang, like we can't even. It just reminds you, like, we really are in a situation here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But also I will try it. How about I do this? I'll see if I can take Amari to on a virtual field trip tomorrow, and I'll check in and tell you how it goes.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm actually planning to do that. My 8-year-old, they had 2 field trips planned first week of April. One was to the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, and one was to the Baltimore. In my head, I'm thinking on those days that he would have had those field trips, we will still do them, but virtually, use some of those resources that are the zoos that are doing the virtual tours. And I'm sure somebody is playing some cello or something like that. So he can still get that experience on those days that he's missed out on those field trips.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's, and people are making jokes of like teaching their kids to cook and all that stuff, but be honest with you, our kids need to know how to cook and do laundry and wash dishes. And honestly, everything is moving in such a pace that I'm like, I ain't got time to teach them how to do no dishes. Like, I got to get the dishes done. Like we got to get the clothes. But now I'm like, I got all the time in the world, and we still got to do the laundry.
And that leads into
dishes. We still got to cook.
Yep.
I mean, maybe it's not a bad. I mean, listen, this is a terrible thing, but I'm saying, like, if there is a silver lining, maybe it's in the fact that there's nothing wrong with your children knowing how to cook and clean and do basic stuff. That I know for me, because I like my house clean, I'm like, I'll just rather have somebody else do it. And then that way we can do the 17 soccer practices, and then we drive all the way out to God only knows where, for 4 hours for an hour soccer game, 3 hours home because it's LA, so there's always traffic, and then poor little Amari's just in tow. Like, when am I supposed to teach him in addition to Common Core and soccer and football and piano and all this? When am I supposed to teach him how to do the laundry?
Yeah. He needs to get an AP history, an AP laundry class. What we say,
honors and vacuuming
class.
Honors and vacuuming. Like this. I mean, again, there is nothing wrong with your children. I think about it often. Like, I Sans, you know that we ain't gonna name no names, but there were some people who went to Stanford, and I was like, how do you not understand how to work a washing machine? Like, you really don't know how to do your own. You don't know how to do. You literally, like, how do you not know? Like, we were where we lived in Ooze, there were sinks. It wasn't a full bathroom, but I was like, you don't know how to wash out the sink? Like, you don't know how to wash out the sink? Bruh. You know, people just have clothes. And not to say that I was not very messy, because I take, Sans, you know, I'm messy. I will cop to it. But at least I knew, like, basic how to cook, how to fold, how to put them away. Like, simple if it came down to it. Now, did I do it all the time? No, but I knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with kids knowing how to do basic stuff. I don't think.
They need to know how to use tools. Pull out the screwdriver and the hammer. They need to learn it. Pull it out.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, simple stuff. I mean, yes, like, so that they don't. We have created, you know, we always complain about the society and not, people don't know, you know, there's no jobs anymore where people just make stuff. And I'm like, but nobody knows how to make stuff. Who
People get paid a whole lot of money. Don't we pay them a lot, the plumber to come in the house and 15 minutes, you know, we pay them an hourly rate? Yes, right?
Sure do.
Because we don't know a snake from a drain, from a Drano, from a hootie boo, and you know you got copper lining on your PVC pipe. Excuse me, sir, what?
Whatever it is, you just fix it.
Yes, but this is forcing us to try. This is going to force us to learn how to do things, because at this time, I mean, we don't even want like cleaners to come. We're like, should I let the cleaner come in and clean? Yeah. So you don't want a lot of traffic coming in and out of your house right now. So you're going to learn how to do things that we didn't do before on our own, like plumbing.
And when I think about the basic level of, and listen, I'm a firm believer in spurring on the economy. Yes, let somebody wash your car. Let somebody wash your what do you call those things? See? the drains. The drains around your house. What do they call them? What do they call? There's something specific.
For the
eaves. Are they eaves? No, they're not eaves. But you know what I'm talking about. But they get clogged with leaves.
The things with the leaves. The things that catch leaves.
The leaf catchers.
Gutters.
The leaf catchers. Gutters. Yes, you need your gutters clean.
I knew you would come through. He's adorable.
Later. Screen time later. God, I'll renew your screen time later. Bye. Mommy's working.
But yes, I mean, gutters. Like, I could get a ladder and get up on the gutter and clean the gutters myself. I don't, because again, we're always so just like boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom with the kids. But you know, maybe there's something to be said for learning where your gutters are, what they're called, gutters. You know, like where you're
like 10 people telling us gutters.
Right?
Thank you. One day we couldn't find the words. Gutters.
Yes, your electric panel, like, you know what I'm saying? Just simple things. Like, maybe there is something to be said for this time, just being able to just go through mentally and being like, there are a lot of things that I just don't know how to do. And they're simple things that I can teach myself. Mm-hmm. That I'm never going to have the time to go on, you know, YouTube tutorials and watch. You know, I can watch the hair ones. I've been watching them hair ones. I'm like, how they get the hair like that?
So all got frozen. I'm not sure why we're all frozen.
It's just you on mine.
Yeah. No, you're. Wait a minute. Now you're frozen again.
Okay, you're moving. No, you're not.
Okay.
Now moving to me.
But we can still hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay.
So one of the questions we did want to ask you, with this newfound time that we were unexpecting, is there anything new or different that you kind of have implemented in your household since you have this new time? Was there something that you may have wanted to put into your daily schedules that you didn't have time before? Don't come back in here. Things like that. Like for me, we now do whatever time we get started. We start off with like what I've been calling a morning advisory with all of us together. We talk about the day. What's it? Delise is gone.
Yeah, she just left. Maybe
Yeah, come
maybe she
back,
shut
come
off to
back.
come back on.
Yeah, she'll come back.
Okay.
But we talk about, the day, what everybody has going on, what's expected of everybody. We talk about, are there things that they want to change in their schedule? But after that, I've been able to, we actually do a scripture lesson where we get a scripture every day that we can memorize, which is something that like we used to do as kids in Sunday school and stuff like that. We used to memorize scriptures. And so I was like, okay, now I get this app on my phone where it tells me a daily scripture. I'm going to review that every morning with the kids, and they learn how to pick up a physical Bible, find the chapter in the Bible, and let's read the scripture together. So is there anything that you have found that yourself doing that you didn't have time to do before?
That's a really good idea. No. No, other than sleeping, no. I mean, but I would love to try that. It's nice to, so before, the only time the boys would have time to spend together would be between the hours of like 5 and 7, 5 and maybe like 8, right? Because Andrew would have to do homework. And so when I think about like the amount of time that they actually get to spend together, it's actually very little amounts of time, you know? And the amount of time that they've had to like that, so that's something new. Just time.
Mm-hmm.
The kids, the
Yeah.
boys are spending the siblings, the two children are spending time together.
I think they appreciate that time too.
I think they will. I think that there's going to be a time when they're definitely going to appreciate having this opportunity to get to know one another and do different things and get on each other's nerves. And God, they get on the oldest just, I always thought the youngest would get on the oldest nerves, but I mean, Andrew just, he's torturing me. It's not funny. It's sad, but it's also
My
really funny.
boys today, we were all playing a science game together.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I see you twice, Delise.
Can you see me? Okay.
But and then she's gone
Yeah, you're
again.
gone again.
Come back, come back.
You're gone again.
She's coming back. But yeah, my boys were all playing. We were all playing a game together today, and the boys were enjoying the interaction, playing with each other so much that the oldest said to the middle son, I think we're growing closer through this.
Oh wow.
And then
Oh.
the 8-year-old didn't know what he was saying. He was like, "Oh, you mean we're men now? We're grown. We're men." He's like, "No, us as brothers." And then my 8-year-old Gavin said, "Oh, you mean our brothership?"
Oh,
They're like, "Yeah, our brothership is growing." So time together is something that the kids, those of us that have multiples, are definitely enjoying one another and having that. They're pretty much each other's classmates right now. They're all each other. They have.
Which is how it used to be. I mean, I grew up as an only child, and but for some time I did live with my cousins, and it was like, I just remember we were always together. Like
yes.
nobody was, you know what I mean? When school was over, that was it. Y'all were together until y'all fall asleep. And when you wake up, you're together. Then you go to school together. But though that whole weekend, all day Saturday, all day, nobody had a play date. Where you going?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if one went somewhere, you better take the rest of them with you. There was no expectation of like, I'm going to go to Bethany's house and hang out with you, Bethany, and all your siblings.
Yeah,
That's who's going,
I used to hate
you
that.
know. Remember
It
how it
was
used to be?
coordinated by the parent, right? That it would be
Yeah.
coordinated by the parent, right?
No, wasn't no parent. The parent was coordinating whatever they were coordinating in the house, and you were responsible for taking your sibling with you.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's so
wherever
true.
you went.
Yep.
And
First date, baby sister
who,
going with you.
yeah, your sister going with you, and the mother knew. The mother, whoever's house you were going to, knew that it was going to be you and a sibling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think about it, and I'm like, wow, like I don't have, like I said, I grew up as an only child, so I take certain things for granted when it comes to siblings, but also like, are they really growing up together in the way that we thought that they would be? When you think about the extracurriculars and the things that they have to do and the time that they spend doing other things, are they really growing up together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to be, you know, melancholy, but
Yeah.
again, I think like the brothership, the sistership, the siblingship, I do think that for those of us with multiples, I think that that's going to be something that we're going to see. Um, I hope we see blossom, or at least see where the
Mhm.
gaps are,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know.
I think in most of our facets of life, we're going to go to what probably how our grandparents did things. Um,
Exactly.
in everything, we're not going to be able to depend on grocery stores. We'll start doing our own little gardens to get our fresh things, and our kids will be sticking with one another after this is all over. Um, we'll be doing phone calls again. We'll be writing some letters.
Really can't afford
Yes.
technology. I don't know what happened to my computer. It was all good all day. Maybe I did too much and it got
You
tired.
stressed it out.
I stressed it out. I totally stressed it out. But one of the things, I guess, we're like, see, this is what happens when you're having fun and drinking
It's over an hour again.
and enjoying ourselves. We end up over an hour again. But we really want to get your perspective, Ryan, on our question of the day today,
Mm-hmm.
which is, can you tell us something new that you've learned about your children, your husband, your community, even yourself, over the last week?
It's a good one.
It's a good one. That's
Well, here,
the
I'll
first.
share. We'll share. We'll share what you think. So,
Okay, go ahead.
what I said was that I learned that my kids really don't need me as much as I thought. I tend to hover, and ask them about their schedule and make sure that they're doing this and make sure that they're doing that. And when we started, surviving homeschool, it's really taken me away from what I thought I was going to be doing, a regular school days during this time. But really, I've had to back up and allow them to be a lot more independent, and they are moving with it. They are rocking it. They are keeping track of their appointments. They're keeping track of their assignments. They're working well with each other. They're helping each other. They're helping the little one when she needs help. And I was like, well, look, watch this. Look at how this is happening. I guess, someone may see it like the fruit of the labor of the hovering, but I don't think I would have seen it if I didn't have this time where I had to step back and allow them to show me their strategies and what they've learned. And so that's definitely something that I've learned over this week, that, they got it going. They got it going on, without mommy. And I'm proud of that.
Yay.
I'm supposed to share too. What did I learn? About my kids. My kids, they complain a lot about the things I have them do. Like I'm bad mommy because I've always supplemented stuff from school. And even this week, the things that we received from our district was optional, but we did it anyway. But they actually enjoy the things that I'm doing with them. The one son, he kept asking to do things over and over again. He didn't want to stop doing it. So I think they're enjoying having mom more active with them and mom having more time with them and mom not having other stresses. Like I'm able to just focus on them right now because I can't do work from home. And they are really like flourishing because of that. And I think they're appreciating that mom is investing that extra time in them. Whereas, yeah, I'm waking you up in the morning. I'm not letting you sleep all day because I want you to get things done, but we're going to have fun as well. Like, so I think I'm noticing that they're actually appreciating and noticing that mom's actually investing in them, even though they feel like mom's a drag and, they hate everything that mom makes them do. So in the end, it'll pay off. I'm learning that.
Yes, in the end, it will pay off.
Those are really good answers. I've learned that Andrew is a very They both are, but Andrew's very resilient. He's a lot more resilient than I mean, I knew he was, but now I'm really seeing it. I'm seeing him kind of ride the waves of his emotions and whatever, and he's, talking to me about things. And you remember when this happened and this and that and da 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 and da, and he's putting things together. I'm realizing why. I mean, he had a whole um, diatribe the other day about homework and how like this just feels like I'm not actually doing anything. It feels like I'm just doing work. And I was like, oh, he's figuring out what busy work is, And I was like, okay. And I'm really getting to understand like what makes him tick, in terms of learning. And he was like, can we just learn stuff but have it be fun? Like, find me some games. Andrew, there are no, like, every game that I find that's for learning, you're gonna be like, and then the teacher gave him something online. He was like, that looks dumb. We're not doing that. And I was like, and it did. I can't even lie, y'all. It looked really dumb. I was like, so I'm learning. It's what I've learned more about my son. Huh?
Yeah. I said resilience is good. Yeah.
Yes, that he's very resilient and that he actually is primed to learn, but he's just one of those kids that needs a lot more than just, yes, he needs structure, but he needs invested structure. And I think that's been loud and clear this week. Like, he needs somebody to be like, here it is. Do you like it? What are we going to change? Well, what do you want to learn? Well, how do you want to learn it? Okay, great. What about this? Cool. But just busy work and all that stuff, that's not necessarily for him. So now I'm realizing, but I'm seeing why he's been bored at school and all of these things. And that's been good. That's been a good lesson for me.
Yes. Yep. Yay! Thank you so much, Sam. Should we take a sip?
Yeah. Girl, you have any left?
Mine is so empty.
Well, then we should just take a full sip.
We made it. We made it.
A full sip for me.
Ching, ching.
Ching, ching,
ching, ching. We made it. We survived our first week of homeschool.
Yes.
Yes, we did. And I'm just really, I guess, grateful to the folks who are asking the questions in the homeschool group. There's a ton of folks asking questions in the homeschool group, Sans. I'm grateful that we've really been able to provide a space for families, like you, who are finding themselves working, but also, thrown into the idea of schooling from home, and that there, are traditional homeschoolers that are piping up and giving ideas. And I love that you're basically showing them that, we've been saying this, like, we're all in this together, all over the country, all different disciplines, we're all in this together. And so I just appreciate all the wisdom and, that you shared, and all, that you shared your family's experiences tonight.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. We really are all in this together, no matter what your walk of life is. We have to hunker down, and there's no one who is doing this well.
Yes.
We're all just doing it.
Yep.
Yes. Surviving.
You're surviving. So
one day at a time.
The time when the Facebook and the Instagram gets you in your head. Just, they lying. If you didn't hear if you don't believe it, take it from me. They lying. Do you walk your walk, and we are all in this together.
Yes. I guess, I was going to close it, but I realized we didn't take one question, Dee.
Well, how much more time does Ryan have? Does she want to take some questions?
I got time for 3 questions.
3 questions.
So let's have folks put some questions in. So that would be great. Because I realized that we talked, and then I was like, hey, we didn't let folks ask any questions. But I do see someone saying, "Do it afraid," which is that's a hashtag out there.
What does that mean?
When I think about it, it's like, take the step even though it may be scary.
Yeah.
Oh, even though you're afraid, still do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, isn't that what courage is? Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is fear and action.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
yeah.
So yeah, do it afraid.
Well, I guess I closed it, so now everyone's like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." So.
Yeah. I think everybody got what they needed from the conversation. We really appreciate you making time for us.
In this situation 3 weeks from now, we'll just do a whole one that's just question and answer, just
That's
Q&A.
what we'll do. We'll do a Q&A.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
With a larger bottle of wine.
Girl.
3 weeks from now, we'll be needing a little bit more wine. Hopefully, the stores will be delivering it.
If there's any kombucha left in the stores, yes. I love you,
Thank you so much.
All questions. We love you. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Of course, it was so nice meeting you, Dee.
You
after
too.
all these years.
Look forward to talking to you again.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is just hello.
Yeah. So we'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye, everybody. We'll
Bye,
chat on the page.